Welcome back everyone to our gameplay of Farm Manager 2018. So in our last several videos, really the entirety of our series, we've been building out as much as we can, and of course that means spending a lot of time in this particular view, zoomed out as far as we can, but we're going to do something a little bit different this time, and for a few reasons. Number one, I'm sort of giving some time for this training to get done. We've got 33 more days remaining. This was a huge training. If you remember, this is going back several episodes, I think, now. At this point, it was a full year of training to be done, and we are in basically the last month of having that done. Over the last few videos, we have gone a long way toward saving ourselves some sanity by using the auto inseminator, which doesn't save you the money and the cost of calling the inseminator. It simply does it automatically, so you don't have to worry about taking care of all that yourself. But in today's video, we got one thing that I want to get done very quickly, and that is let's set up the location for our mill. So we've got, I think, an area, yeah, down here, 3. I'm hoping those 3 will be enough to set up our mill. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the wheat, or not all of it, but probably a large portion of it. Let's see, there's wheat seed. Where in the world is all our wheat? We got crops, we got wherever in the world it's at. All right, I won't worry too much about it. It's around here somewhere. There's no telling where they've taken it. But we are going to go ahead, since we started with a paved road here, I'm going to go ahead and extend it there. And then let's swap over to the dirt road in my crooked corner here. There we go. And I'm going to try to put our mill right over in this area. All right, let's go under production buildings, and let's see. Here's our mill. And as you can see, it's not all that big compared to the refrigerated storage and some of the larger areas that we will come across. Let's see, I'm trying to give a little bit of room here for the road to come through, just in case we decide to go that direction with it. Let's make sure our auto inseminator is working. Yes. Okay. Should be good to go there. All right, let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit because I want to get a little different perspective on some of these things. But before we can do that, I want to try to get in and get this mill working. All right, let's go ahead and scroll down and hire a couple of people. And let's see, the ones we want are the ones with, well, maybe. Oops, we don't want any seasonal. All right, let's go ahead, come out and then back in. Okay, that's not bad. Looks like that may be what we have to take, is something along those lines. Here we go. Here we go. We'll take this one. Again, I'm not going to worry too much about this. Just as long as we can find some people that are, there we go. That's about perfect. All right, which one are you? You are 5. That's who I want. And we need one more. I'm pretty sure it's going to use those, and that will do just fine. There we go. So now we've got these 3. We'll go ahead and fast forward a little bit more, just so we can sort of get to the point here. Let's go ahead and max these guys out. Trying to let that mill get taken care of while we are waiting. And there you can see it's about halfway done there. We've got a lot of things that need to be done, but I'm purposefully holding off on these for now. So let's see, I almost forgot about, yep, in fact the buckwheat I did actually forget about it. I left it too long, had so many other things I was taking care of that I let it go a little bit too long. So now we're just going to be stuck with the colza honey instead of the buckwheat. But again, not that big a deal. The whole purpose of this playthrough was to get a little glimpse at everything that the game has to offer, and so far we've been able to do that. So I'll just try to be a little bit more mindful before next season, because no, I'm not going to mess with replanting that. It's not that big a deal. Again, the honey is going to stop production probably somewhere around a quarter to halfway through the fall, so at this point it's not really worth it. Let's go ahead into the mill. Oh, only 2 employees. Okay, that'll be just fine. Again, not terribly worried about that. And of course, we're going to do wheat since that's what we've been growing. But you have options for rye and corn. And what do we want to leave? Let's leave at least 5,000. We got 54,000. I tell you what, let's make that 10,000. So that, since we know that some of our animals are actually using this as feed, 10,000 should be quite a bit to keep on hand. And let's see. Let's make sure we got our employees in place. All right. So actually now we've got one employee, yeah, right here that we don't need. It's going to cost us a little bit of money to do that, but that's okay. I'm trying to keep things fairly squared away. Okay, so they should scurry off to wherever in the world we've got the wheat. I'm sure I overlooked it. They'll run and grab that and then start the process of making flour. So with that in mind, let's see. We actually need to come in under, let's see, where am I at? Report. Let's take a quick look at our income for the last month. Let's go ahead and fast forward so we can get into the 9th month. Just get that one more day out of the way. Well, maybe. There we go. So now we're into September. But if we take a look at actually where we are, again, this is just the income. And you can see we get, of course, tons and tons of money off of the honey. A lot of money from the honey, no doubt. Milk, not really all that big of a deal. You can see the sheep, also not that big of a deal. Fairly good income from the cow's milk. We've just gotten started more or less in the goat's milk, not that long ago. Sheep's milk, same type thing. But as far as money we are getting, we haven't, you see there's no money here from cow meat, and the reason is because the cows have not reached the time where they are actually ready for the inseminator, and I haven't been messing with them. We've been focusing on other things, so we'll have to get those back going. You can see the tomato juice is up and running. We've got a little bit of profit from the wind farm, but that is about it. Most of our money and income comes from the honey for most of the year, about a little over half of the year. So while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and just buy these. And it sure will be nice. Yeah, the auto inseminator is being called here. Let's see, 6 out of 6, 6 out of 6. All right, excellent. So that will give them some cows to come and pick up. So what I really wanted to get to here, now that we've got our mill being built, there's some other things that we can do, but I've been saving this field so that we could actually work this one. So we want to actually harvest this one. Let's go to our machines and autofill, and let's make sure we get, all right, we got our combine, our header, tractor, and our trailer. Everything looks good there. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Oh, we got fungus on our field. Let's go ahead and get spraying for that. I think we have anti-fungus. Yes, we've got plenty of that. Autofill, tractor, sprayer. Let's see, the orchard sprayer should work just fine on this. And I want to fast forward just a little bit so we can get some of these guys, yeah, here they come, to start actually working on some things. And I actually want to zoom in a little bit. So this game, basically, if you're going to build a whole lot of anything, then it's hard to do it in any other view from other than what we're looking at right now. Also, I need to get some of these up and going because I want us to have an opportunity to see these, because we're going to zoom in here in just a second and we're going to see what's going on at the ground level. Let's see, we should have enough left for one more crew. Let's see. Oh, we got one person there that doesn't need to be there, but like I said, the money won't make any difference even though it'll be reduced. So let's go ahead and zoom in, and we're going to leave it at we're not going to fast forward, we're actually going to leave it at the slower speed for the most part. So we got our combine here. So this is a pretty enjoyable viewpoint. We haven't used it a lot in our playthrough simply because we spend most of our time building. Okay. But another reason why I don't spend a whole lot of time in this view is because I'm not a huge fan of the graphics in this game, and of course, it can be quite challenging on the graphics card from time to time. Right now, because of the recent updates that we talked about in a previous video, we're at around between 33 and about 40 frames per second is where we've been. Looks like we're about ready for a collision here. Nope. Now, I actually really like that design decision. That is perfect. Turn off the collision there so everybody can just go on about their business without having to worry about those collisions. I love that. Okay, so here comes the orchard sprayer. Let's zoom over for just a minute and let's look and see what's going on in the greenhouses. See these guys. Of course, all this is being done by hand. Unfortunately, I can't really get much closer than what I'm at right now. Let's turn around a little bit. Looks like we got two trucks stuck together there. Here they come out of the greenhouses, walking at a very brisk pace. So it's good every once in a while just to work our way through here. Let's click on there. Alright, so they're still harvesting at least for a couple more seconds, but it does look like they've actually gotten done. We're just waiting for them to get the product back into... Yep, there you can see our messages popping up now. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit so we can start to get some more crews up and going. Okay, there we go. And should have enough for one more crew, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Here comes our orchard sprayer. You can see everything's sort of jittery when you get down this close. Remember, we're not going at fast forward, so see what we've got on our orchard sprayer. Not bad. I mean, the visuals aren't terrible, but you can tell it's not really designed for this up close, in my opinion, because it's not very smooth when you're down at this level. Alright, looks like we are emptying out our combine. And now the tractor will stay right here. It appears as though what they've done with the trailer is they haven't worried about how much the trailer can hold. There's only one trailer in the game, so they don't seem to be worried about what the capacity is for a particular trailer. They just let the trailer, as far as I can tell, it can unload the entirety of this field, and it's a pretty big field, not the largest in the game. All right, we got our sprayer spraying the anti-fungus, and he's just going to sort of take a random route, or corner to corner maybe, is what this guy's doing. Let's see if that indeed fulfills our anti-fungus needs. Alright, so now he's headed down. But yeah, it's definitely nice to be able to zoom in at this level, but it's just hard to do any work at this level. Alright, while we're over here, let's take a quick look at one of our orchards. This is actually our cherry orchard. So you can see we are 174 days, so we're a good ways away from anything there. Okay, let's head back over to over toward the greenhouses. Still got our tractor ready and waiting. Looks like this guy's got this may actually be his last swipe on the field. But again, I do like this, as we've seen in, if you follow in our pure farming series, you know that this is, I wish we could have this sort of AI in that game, because it basically just ignores the specifics of it and says, look, this guy is working on the field, and when he gets done, it'll all be done. You won't have to worry about percentages and any of that. I love that. I love that. There's our scarecrow, making sure we don't get any crows, any birds out on our land. Okay, we got 92 days there, which we'll see how that turns out. To me, it's just enough to have a little fun with that. Over in our storage, we've got our another sprayer. We've got our water tank here. Some more medium storage, and then the small storage, which is where our fertilizer is. Okay, let's see how things are going. Very nice. Over actually in here, what's in this one? This is tomatoes. Wish we could go in, but unfortunately the camera actually has collision with the greenhouse itself, so we're not able to zoom right in on that. We'd have to plant them in a field if we wanted to deal with that, but very nice. Let's actually zoom out a little bit. Looks like we got enough for one more crew. Yeah, well, kind of a crew. Our misfit crew. Zoom in here. Now this is the mill that we just placed. See if we can see anybody going to and from the mill right now. Got the truck there. It looks like they're not doing anything right now. It's one of our barns. Still has nothing in it. See what the chickens are up to. Okay, not too bad. No shadows there. I think I've got the graphics cranked up, but again, not too bad. Particularly if you view it from something like this, it looks, you don't have to worry so much about the LODs and the specifics of things. You can see this guy, what does he have? He's got chicken eggs. This guy's got some chicken eggs. He's taking it over here to the storage house. Zoom back out and see what we've got. Okay, that's one edge of the farm. Let's head across the street and actually see what's going on with the cows. You can see there, 6 cows out on the lot. There is our manure storage, which we are selling most of. Okay, then this is our silage, which right now, current production is probably 0. In fact, let's go ahead and just remedy that right quick. In the future, we might actually look at that. Wow, look at the price of grass. Very nice. Let's go ahead and get about 3,000 there. We've got plenty of silage, but again, no reason for us to even think about running out. In case you're wondering, there's the silage right there, 13,758. So plenty of that. And who knows, at some point in the future, we might actually start using the natural fertilizer instead of the chemical. All right, let's see what's going on over here with the goats. So we're at 12 of 15. All right, so we'll be waiting for the inseminator on that to fill them back up. Okay, let's see what's next on our... There's one of the silos, one of the small silos. Still got quite a bit of storage capacity in there, though. Even though it is fairly small. Of course, there's our main house, which we can upgrade, I believe, one more time. And we'll get to that at some point. Okay, more goats here. Again, if you try to zoom right in on these guys, it becomes obvious the limitations of the graphics. But if you stay back away somewhere, something like this, then it's usually pretty good. Okay, then we get to our beekeepers. See if we can see some of these guys. Here comes some more guys out of storage. She's got some honey she's putting up. Looks like everybody's carrying these igloo containers. More honey. You can, yep, there you go. You can see the bees flying around. Interesting that the bees will be flying around, and they go, I think it's like up to a mile or something. And I've heard that they can actually go, not talking about in the game, I'm talking about in real life, a mile or more that a bee will travel to find different types of food. Pretty interesting. Okay, so our colza is still doing pretty good, but if we zoom in, our buckwheat not doing so good. So I allowed it to die. I let it get a little bit too low. I think it was actually water it was a little bit too low on. Okay, here comes some more beekeeper. Still hard at work. Let's see what's going on with our sheep. pretty good. It actually looks pretty good for a sheep model. And not bad considering these are the small versions of all of these animal barns. Okay, let's back out just a little bit here. I want to see what we've got going on. Looks like our tractor is done. He must have went over here to put the orchard sprayer back up. And it looks like we've got some harvested crops. Yes. All right, so just so that we can see what this looks like, let's go ahead and cultivate this. Now, we don't have enough time for this to actually grow this during this season, but I kind of just want to do it just so we can see what it looks like. And of course, we got plenty of room over here where we used to have the rabbits. Now we've just got some more chickens over here. And let's take a look. Actually come over to, let's come over to the report. And let's see what we've got. There we go, back to the cow meat. And of course you can see, I mean, look at that. That is absolutely tons of money that we get. And keep in mind that most of the time I don't remember to actually do a whole lot with that. I'll be really happy when the cows will actually start to take care of that on their own, so that we'll need the inseminator. Yeah, there you can see the straw, which unfortunately is still on the field, but our wheat is, for the most part, growing just fine. We need some more moisture over here. So let's go ahead and call that in. Really need that upgrade that I believe you get later on in the game. For some reason, it auto-fills with the sprinkler, which we do not want. It takes, from my experience, it seems to take a lot longer than the water tank, because the water tank seems to be pretty good about getting this done pretty quickly. Alright, here we go. Cultivator coming back over, and this time he is getting rid of the straw. That is awesome. But yeah, I like the way the game is handling this. This, I would have to imagine, is a lot less CPU intensive, because rather than trying to do this in real time, it just sort of says, hey, it's moving over this plot of land, so just remove all that from it. I like that idea. And right now is where I really wish we could queue up jobs, because I would queue him up to do the same thing over here, just to sort of clear things out. Even though we will not be planting anymore for this season. Let's see what we've got over here. Okay, so we are actually ready to harvest over here. Now, I don't think we've got the machinery yet. We need the tractor there. Okay, there's all sorts of stuff to do in the wintertime, such as renovate or repair your tractors. There's training that will help us out with better on that, but there's always stuff to do in this game. The problem is remembering to do it all. Alright, so let's go ahead and zoom back out. So we've got our cultivator going on this field. We've got our water tank. There we go. Let's spin it around so we can see our water tank working on the field. And this guy works, from what I've seen, a lot better than the orchard spray. Let's actually see if the orchards need to be sprayed. Not really. Not too bad. Of course, anytime it's not completely full, I find myself thinking that I could go ahead and spray it, because I'm bad about forgetting to do so. But overall, very pleased. I have to say, it's not, again, as long as I stay, if I get all the way zoomed in, then I'm not particularly a fan of it, but as long as I stay at about this area, not too bad. Let's come back over to our greenhouses. Looks like we got plenty of workers available to work on the greenhouses. Let's see if we can watch these guys get something done. So as we get closer and closer to winter, we get closer to the ability to make some decisions about what we want to do during the winter. in order to prepare for next spring. And as I zoom back out, one of the things I definitely would not mind doing in the next year, again, we're still at the very end of summer. We still have fall and then, of course, winter. But during winter, I wouldn't mind putting up some more fields and maybe get into summer perennial plants, putting those out there to make things a little easier. We'll have to go through the planting process one time, but then after that, it should be a much easier process for us going forward. Of course, that also means we have to buy some more equipment. We're back up over $1 million, but the only thing I really look at that for is just to see how much money I've got to buy more stuff with. That's really all it means to me, more or less. Okay, let's head over actually to the mill. Now remember, we haven't been in fast forward, so not a whole lot has probably happened. All right, we got some wheat flour that is going on. Let's actually come in. And we got lots of wheat. There's our wheat flour. We need to set it up on auto trade. And let's see if we can find it. See if it's going to be at the very bottom for us. Okay, there is the wheat flour. We'll set up to sell all of it. Okay, there's our wheat that we definitely want to keep. Apples that we're turning into juice. And then hopefully next season we'll have some cherries to also turn into juice. All right, looks like we're good from there. All right, but overall, I think our little farm, and it still is very small, relatively speaking. We do have 68 workers, and I do not plan on messing with the seasonal workers anymore. They can come in handy, but for the most part, they're probably just more trouble than they're worth. I think I'll, for the most part, just stick with the permanent workers, and even though they're going to cost me a little bit more money, it is a little bit easier to deal with when I just have them and I know where they're stationed and I can get them anytime I want. So we're down to 16 days left on our year-long training, so that's going to open up some opportunities to spend some more money in the next few videos as we unlock, hopefully, some other things. One of the big things would be the equipment, how quickly it wears out. Of course, the price of land is always available for us to train with, but really interested in opening up some new avenues for us in the future. But for now, I think we're just going to leave it here for this video. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more as we continue our gameplay of Farm Manager 2018.